The transport ship broke through the last layer of clouds and entered the skies of Tovera. Rian stood near the viewing glass, staring at the blue-green glow that stretched across the horizon. The planet looked peaceful from above, but his instruments told a different story. Energy readings spiked in strange patterns, like invisible storms moving under the soil. He had seen many worlds, but none like this. Rian had come alone. His mission was simple. He had to locate and study a strange signal that had been reaching deep space for decades. The message came from Tovara, a planet long thought to be empty. Yet when he landed, he saw lights flickering through the trees and shapes moving beyond the mist. The ship landed in a valley, surrounded by massive silver trees. Their leaves shimmered, as if made of glass. The air was thick and heavy, filled with a scent that reminded him of rain on metal. He stepped out, wearing his breathing mask and scanning the area. The ground pulsed faintly under his boots, like the planet was alive. He set up his camp near a stream. His drone began mapping the area while his scanner displayed repeating patterns of energy all around. Each pulse seemed timed like a heartbeat. He could not shake the feeling that the planet was aware of him. Hours passed as he collected samples and sent data to his ship. Suddenly, his scanner flashed red. A heat source appeared behind him, moving fast. He turned and saw a figure standing among the trees. It looked human at first glance, but moved too smoothly, almost gliding over the ground. The figure had long hair that shone like copper in the dim light, and eyes that glowed faint orange. Rian raised his hands slowly. "I mean no harm," he said. The figure tilted her head, studying him. She stepped closer, and Rian saw that her ears were pointed. Her skin faintly marked with glowing lines that pulsed like fire beneath the surface. She spoke softly, her voice calm but firm. "You should not be here, traveler. The planet does not welcome outsiders." Before he could reply, another figure appeared beside her. This one's eyes were silver blue, her presence colder, sharper. She looked almost identical to the first, except her glow flickered like moonlight instead of flame. Rian stepped back slightly. "Who are you?" The first woman answered, "I am Nira. This is my sister Via. We are guardians of Tovara." Rian frowned. "Guardians? I thought this planet was empty." Via's tone was quiet, almost distant. "Empty only to those who do not see. You have woken things that should have slept." Rian felt a chill run down his spine. The sisters spoke with perfect human words, yet their presence was not human. He asked carefully, "I came to study the signal from this world. I did not mean to cause harm." Nira's eyes brightened. "The signal you followed was not meant for your kind. It was a warning. Something stirs beneath this land. You have touched the threads that bind it." Rian tried to explain his purpose. He spoke about the beacon he found, about the message it sent across light years. The sisters listened in silence, their expressions unreadable. When he finished, Via said softly, "The beacon was built long ago by humans like you. They came seeking power. They tried to command the planet's energy. Most were lost," he asked. "And you? What are you really?" Nira looked away. The flames in her eyes dimmed slightly. "We were born from their mistakes." Oh. The silence that followed was heavy. The wind moved through the glowing leaves, making soft ringing sounds. Rian realized he was standing on a world that remembered pain. He wanted to ask more, but the ground beneath them trembled. A wave of energy surged through the forest, bright lights flashing in the distance. His scanner began beeping wildly. The sisters reacted instantly. Nira raised her hand, and fire erupted around them, forming a barrier. The flames burned without smoke or heat. Vea moved beside her, her eyes glowing brighter as the air shimmered, creating a wall of illusions that hid them from sight. Rian crouched behind a rock, stunned. He saw dark shapes moving beyond the fire. They crawled on long limbs and had faces like broken masks. The creatures circled the area, screeching in hollow voices. "What are those?" he asked. Nira's tone was tense. "Shadows of the old world. They are drawn to your presence. You carry something that disturbs them." Via turned her head slightly. "He carries the same pattern as the old creators. They sense it." The creatures rushed forward, but Nira extended both arms, and a wave of pure flame swept across the clearing. The shadows burned in silence, dissolving into ash that vanished in the air. When the last one faded, the forest grew quiet again. Rian looked at the sisters with awe. "You saved me." Vaya's eyes dimmed. "We saved the planet from your mistake." Rian lowered his gaze. "If I am causing harm, I will leave." Nira shook her head. "It is too late. The planet has felt your arrival. It will not rest now. You have awakened the Guardian." The word made him pause. "Guardian. The one who watches the core," Vaya said. "The oldest being on Tovera. It protects the heart of this world. It believes all intruders are threats." Rian swallowed hard. "Can it be reasoned with?" Nira's answer was simple. "No. Only balanced or destroyed." They stood in silence, each lost in thought. Rian looked up at the glowing trees and realized the danger he was in. Yet something in him refused to fear these sisters. He felt a strange connection, as if they carried both danger and truth. He asked quietly, "Why help me then?" Nira met his eyes. "Because long ago, one of your kind saved us. His blood still runs in you. That is why we cannot let the Guardian destroy you yet." Rian's heart pounded. "You mean I am connected to him?" "Yes," Vaya said. "You are his echo. His code was written into your DNA. That is why the planet responds to you." He tried to understand her words. It made no sense. Yet the evidence was all around. His scanners went wild each time he touched the soil, and the sisters' powers grew stronger near him. They led him through the forest toward higher ground. The night fell fast on Tovera. The sky filled with swirling colors, green and violet ribbons of light that danced like fire in the wind. Rian followed, watching how Nira's steps left faint trails of red light, while Vaya's left none at all. They moved like two parts of one mind, one of flame, one of illusion. They reached a wide clearing surrounded by ancient ruins. Stone pillars rose from the ground, engraved with symbols that looked half human and half Phalian. The sisters stopped and turned to face him. "This is the circle of memory," Nira said. "Here the planet remembers everything that ever touched it. You must see what your people did." Rian stepped closer, placing his hand on one of the stones. A pulse ran through his body. His mind filled with visions. He saw humans in white suits, machines drilling into the ground, lights bursting from the soil. Then came the fire. He saw the moment everything went wrong, the merging of human and alien energy that created the sisters. He saw fear, then silence. The memory faded, leaving him gasping. Nira's expression was calm. "Now you understand why Tovara hates humans," Vaya added. "But you may also be the only one who can heal it." Rian shook his head slowly. "I did not choose this." "No one chooses the fate written in their blood," Nira said. The ground trembled again. A deep hum rose from below. The light of the forest darkened as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Vaya's eyes turned to the east. "It has begun. The Guardian stirs." Rian's instincts told him to run, but the sisters stood firm. Nira raised her hands, calling forth small flames that floated around them like fireflies. "We will guide you to the mirror spire. It is the only place where the Guardian's voice can be reached." He nodded, though fear filled his chest. "And if I fail?" Vaya's voice was soft. "Then this world will burn again, and we will burn with it." As they began their journey through the glowing forest, Rian looked at the two sisters walking beside him. One shone with warmth and life, the other with calm and silence. Together, they seemed like light and shadow bound by the same soul. He wondered what kind of bond they shared and why they would risk everything to help a human they barely knew. Above them, the stars shifted in strange patterns. Tovara's sky was alive, whispering with energy. Rian could feel the pull of something vast beneath his feet. The planet's heartbeat matched his own. He thought of the warning they gave him, of the Guardian rising from the depths. Whatever waited ahead, it was no longer just a mission. It was a test of what humanity still meant in a universe that had forgotten them. The flames around Nira brightened, lighting the path ahead. Vaya's illusions shaped the air into shimmering walls that hid their movement. Together, they moved into the unknown. the forest watching in silence. The journey to the Mirror Spire had begun, and the planet's fate was now bound to theirs. The forest of Tavara stretched endlessly before them. Each tree glowed faintly, its roots spreading wide like silver veins beneath the ground. Rian followed behind Nira and Vaya, watching the sisters move with quiet grace. The air grew warmer with every step. The scent of smoke and metal mixed together, and the faint hum beneath the soil grew stronger. They had been walking for hours. The path wound through low hills and shallow pools that reflected the sky like mirrors. Rian could see strange lights moving under the water. He had learned not to ask what they were. Every time he asked too many questions, they only gave short answers, and Nira's silence said more than words. At last they stopped at a rocky ridge. From there, Rian saw the wide valley below. At its center burned a slow circle of red light. "What is that?" he asked. "The flame basin," Nira replied. Her voice carried a weight that made him quiet. "It is where the planet breathes. Its energy rises there." "Yes," Via added. "It is also where illusions are strongest. The line between real and false blurs within that light." Rian studied the glow. "Then why go near it?" Nira turned to him. "Because we have to. The Guardian's energy flows from the core to this place. If we are to reach the Mirror Spire, we must pass through it." He nodded, though his mind was uneasy. As they descended toward the basin, he noticed changes in the air. The wind felt alive, carrying faint whispers that seemed to form words he could almost understand. Shadows shifted among the trees, taking shapes that looked like people, then melting away again. When they reached the edge of the basin, the ground turned smooth and dark, like cooled glass. Red light rose from cracks in the surface, painting everything in warm color. Nira knelt and placed her hand on the ground. Her fiery glow spread out, forming symbols that pulsed in rhythm with the planet's heartbeat. Vaya stepped beside her, her voice calm. "The energy is unstable. We must balance it, or the Guardian will sense us before we are ready." Rian crouched near them. "What can I do to help?" Nira looked up, her eyes burning softly. "Stay still. Do not interfere with the flame. It reacts to your presence." He stood quietly, watching as they worked. Nira's control over the living fire was beautiful and terrifying. Flames moved around her hands like obedient creatures, forming patterns that locked into place. Vaya raised her arms, and shimmering threads of light appeared in the air, weaving illusions that wrapped around the basin like a veil. The red light pulsed faster, then began to fade. The trembling beneath the ground eased. The sisters exchanged a brief glance of relief. "It is stable for now," Vaya said. "We can rest here until night." They moved toward a small cave near the edge of the basin. Rian gathered his equipment, while the sisters sat near the entrance. Nira lit a small, gentle flame that floated above them, giving soft light. For the first time, Rian saw them without the tension of danger. They looked almost human, though their eyes never stopped glowing faintly. He finally asked, "You said you were created by humans. How is that possible?" Nira's gaze was distant. "Long ago, the first explorers came to Tovara. They found the planet full of living energy, more powerful than anything they had known. They wanted to control it. They built machines to merge human minds with the planet's flow. But the energy was alive. It fought back. The process broke both sides." Vaya continued softly. "Some humans were changed. Their bodies became part of the planet. Their minds blended with its will. Most did not survive. We did. We became the Foxwoman's sisters, half human, half spirit." Rian listened carefully. "Why foxes?" Nira smiled faintly. "It was not a choice. The fox was sacred to the ancient colonists. They saw it as a creature of balance and cunning. The energy took that form when it bonded with us. We are symbols of the planet's dual nature, fire and illusion, creation and deception." He thought about their powers. "And your duty is to protect Tavara from more humans like me." "Yes," Vaya said. "We have guarded it for generations. The Guardian sleeps as long as the balance is kept. But now, Your signal from the stars has broken that silence. Rion's shoulders tightened. I only came to learn the truth. I never wanted this. Nira looked at him for a long moment. Intentions do not change outcomes, but your presence may serve a purpose. The planet responds to you. It reacts to your blood. That means something. Her tone was not angry, only thoughtful. Rion wanted to ask what it meant, but before he could, the ground shook again. The flame above Nira's hand flickered. Vaya's head turned sharply. Something is near. Rion grabbed his scanner. The screen showed movement all around them, multiple heat signatures closing fast. They are coming from every direction. Nira rose to her feet, fire already forming in her palms. The shadow beasts again. The Guardian sends them to test us. Shapes emerged from the red mist. The creatures looked like tall humans made of glass and smoke. Their eyes shone white, their movements slow but purposeful. There were dozens of them. VA moved first. She waved her hand and the air shimmered. Multiple copies of herself appeared, each one moving in a different direction. The illusions confused the creatures, drawing them away. Nira stepped forward and created a circle of flame that trapped the nearest ones inside. They howled in silence as the fire burned through their forms. Rion stayed behind, watching in awe. He had never seen such coordination. Nira's fire danced like a living serpent, while Vea's illusions made her seem like an army. But the creatures kept coming. One of them slipped past the illusions and lunged at Rion. He fell back, raising his arm to shield himself. Before it could strike, Nira appeared between them. Her hand blazed bright, and the creature shattered into sparks. She turned to him, her voice firm. "Stay behind me." Vaya's voice came from every direction, more from the east. The battle lasted minutes that felt like hours. When the last shadow fell, silence returned to the basin. The sisters stood still, breathing slowly. Rion looked at them, both amazed and uneasy. He could feel the power they carried, power that came from the planet itself. Vaya dispelled her illusions, and the air cleared. The Guardian watches. "It is trying to understand you, Rion. It tests whether you belong here or not." He looked around at the ashes of the creatures. "And what if it decides I do not belong?" Nira answered without hesitation. "Then it will come for you in full strength." They moved back to the cave, their faces serious. The rest of the night passed quietly, though no one truly slept. The glow of the flame basin lit the cave walls, painting their shadows on stone. Rion sat near the entrance, looking out at the strange landscape. When dawn came, Vaya was the first to speak. "We must move. The Guardian will not stop sending its servants." They left the basin behind, climbing toward higher ground. The landscape began to change. The glowing trees gave way to fields of crystal grass that hummed when the wind passed through. The light of Tovara's twin suns reflected off everything, making the world look like a sea of glass. Rion noticed something odd. His scanner no longer worked. Every signal it sent came back distorted. The sisters did not seem surprised. "This area bends light and time," Via said. "Your tools cannot read it. You must trust what you see and what you feel." They walked for hours before stopping near a broken structure. It looked like an old human outpost, half buried in the soil. Rion felt a wave of emotion as he stepped inside. Rusted machines lay silent, their surfaces covered with glowing moss. Faded symbols of Earth's exploration teams were still visible on the walls. He touched one of the panels. It came to life for a brief moment, showing a message. "Project Merge. Control the core, unite the mind." Vaya's tone was bitter. They never understood that the planet already had a mind. Nira picked up a broken metal shard. "This place was one of the labs where they created us." Rion looked at her with surprise. "Then this is your birthplace?" "Yes," she said quietly. "And also our curse." He could sense their pain. The ruins were full of silent memories, and the walls seemed to echo with what had once happened here. He felt a strange responsibility. These sisters were living proof of what humanity's ambition had done. As they left the ruins, the wind picked up again. This time, it carried faint whispers that sounded like human voices. Rion stopped. "Do you hear that?" Vaya nodded. They are illusions born from the planet's memory. Sometimes the past bleeds into the present. Do not listen for too long, or it will draw you in. They continued walking, but the voices grew louder. Rian began to see figures in the distance, humans in white suits, moving among machines. He blinked, and they were gone. His heart raced. He realized the illusions were testing his mind, showing him what he feared. Vaya noticed his unease. Do not fight them. Accept that they are only reflections. Illusion has no power unless you believe in it. He nodded and took a deep breath. The visions faded. By sunset, they reached a vast canyon. Across it stood a tall, glowing tower that pierced the sky. It looked like it was made of glass and light. Rian felt drawn to it instantly. The Mirror Spire, Nira said. It stands at the heart of Tovera. The Guardian's power flows through it. To reach it, we must cross this canyon. Rian looked at the distance. The canyon was wide, and a thick mist filled the bottom. No bridge, no path, nothing visible. How do we cross? Vaya smiled faintly. With illusion and faith, she stepped forward and waved her hands. Light formed beneath her feet, creating The Mirror Spire rose high above the land, its surface shining with the color of stars. It looked smooth from far away, but up close. Rian could see that it was made of many layers of crystal that moved slowly, like living glass. The light inside it shifted with every breath of wind, creating patterns that looked like memories. Rian stood at the base of the spire, with Nira and Vaya. The ground around them pulsed with quiet energy. A low hum filled the air, so deep it seemed to come from the planet's heart. The sisters stopped to listen. Vaya closed her eyes, and her silver-blue glow grew brighter. The spire is awake, she said softly. It feels our presence. It knows who we are. Rian placed his hand on the surface. The moment he touched it, a wave of light ran up the tower. His scanner started to spark. The signal he had followed across the galaxy came from here. He could feel the same rhythm inside his chest. Nira stepped beside him. The Mirror Spire was built by the first humans. They wanted to speak with the planet, but they used machines instead of voices. They could not understand that Tovara's mind speaks through memory and emotion, not code, Vaya added. The spire became a bridge between thought and matter. When they failed, the planet took it back. Now it shows truth and illusion together. Rian turned toward them. Then how do we enter? The spire chooses who can pass, Nira said. It will open for you only if it accepts you. He took a step closer. The tower's surface changed, showing his reflection. But it was not only him. He saw himself in different times, standing on Earth as a child, training for space missions, and sitting alone among the stars. He saw moments he had forgotten. The reflections moved on their own, as if they were alive. Then the image changed. He saw fire, broken machines, and human faces crying out in fear. He saw two figures, Nira and Voya, rising from flames, their human forms breaking into light. He stepped back, heart racing. It is showing me what happened, Asa nodded. It shows what is true and what you fear. That is the power of illusion. The planet remembers everything. The door appeared before them, glowing faintly. It was shaped like a circle, its edges rippling like water. Nira looked at Rian. If you enter, your mind will be tested. The spire will show you your truth. You must not lose yourself inside it. Rian took a deep breath and walked forward. The door opened without sound. A cool light surrounded him as he stepped inside. The inside of the Mirror Spire was endless. The floor reflected the sky, and the walls shimmered like liquid. He could not tell which way was up or down. Nira and Vaya followed behind him, their light helping to guide his path. Every step he took created ripples of light beneath his feet. Around them, images floated in the air, memories of humans who had lived and died on this planet. Some built machines, others fled from disasters. He saw their joy, their fear, and their hope. Vaya whispered, "These are the memories of the old world. The spire keeps them alive."
Owls!
Nira's eyes narrowed. But something is wrong. The illusions are blending together. The spire is unstable. Rian looked around. The images started to twist. The faces turned toward him, their mouths moving without sound. He heard whispers, like voices calling his name. He covered his ears, but the sound came from inside his mind. Suddenly, the world around him shifted. He was no longer inside the spire. He stood on a small hill under a bright blue sky. A gentle breeze moved through tall grass. He knew this place. It was Earth. He saw people walking near a small home. They smiled and waved at him. It was his family, long gone. His mother stood at the door, calling his name. For a moment, he forgot where he was. He felt warmth and peace. He walked toward them. But as he came closer, the air flickered. The faces blurred, and the sky turned red. The house began to melt away, Rian. A voice called behind him. He turned and saw Vaya standing there, her silver glow breaking through the illusion. "This is not real," she said firmly. "The spire is testing your heart. If you believe in the illusion, it will trap you here." He shook his head, trying to clear his thoughts. The voices of his family faded into silence. The ground under him turned to glass again. He was back inside the spire. He looked at Vaya. It felt so real. "It was real to your mind," she said. "That is how the spire learns. It studies what you desire and what you fear. It uses those to decide if you are worthy." Nira appeared beside them, her eyes glowing brighter than before. "The Guardian's energy is close. The spire is drawing it here. We must move fast." He climbed a spiraling path made of crystal stairs that appeared as they walked. The higher they went, the stronger the light became. Patterns of fire and shadow moved along the walls, like living art. Halfway up, the air turned heavy. The hum of the planet grew louder until it felt like thunder under their feet. The stairs ahead broke apart, replaced by floating platforms of light. Rian hesitated. "We have to jump." Vaya smiled faintly. "Do not think. Just move. The path exists only while you believe in it." She leaped forward, landing lightly on the next platform. Nira followed, leaving trails of flame in her steps. Rian took a deep breath and jumped. The platform caught him, but it felt like standing on water. He moved carefully, his balance steadying with each step. When they reached the top, they entered a vast chamber filled with glowing orbs. Each orb floated in the air, showing moving images of different times and places on Tovara. Some showed human cities buried in sand. Others showed forests like the one they had crossed. Vaya touched one of the orbs. "These are the memories of the planet. The spire stores every thought, every echo." Rian stepped closer to another orb. Inside it, he saw a man who looked like him standing beside ancient machines. The man's eyes were full of determination. "Who is that?" he asked quietly. Nira's voice was calm. "That was the first explorer. His name was Rian too. You carry his genetic code. You are his descendant. His actions created us." The orb shifted, showing the man entering a glowing chamber deep underground. Machines exploded, light filled the air, and everything turned white. When the image cleared, Nira and Vaya stood where the man had been. Rian felt his chest tighten. "So I am connected to you through him," as Vaya said. His DNA was merged with ours when the energy fused human life with the planet. You are the echo of that event. The spire knows you as part of itself. The chamber began to shake. The orbs flickered and cracked. The light dimmed. "The Guardian is coming," Nira said. "It feels your presence here." Rian looked up. The ceiling opened like an eye and a beam of light shot down. A massive shape appeared within the glow. It looked like a being made of molten stone and shining glass. Its body moved like liquid metal, and its voice echoed inside their minds. "Human blood returns to the core," it said. "You bring the same fire that once scarred this world." Nira stepped forward, her flames bright. "He is not your enemy. He carries the memory of balance." The Guardian's light pulsed. "Balance was broken when your kind defied nature. You are fragments of that sin." Vaya raised her hand, forming illusions that bent the light around them. "If you want him, you will have to face both of us." The Guardian's energy flared, shaking the chamber. Rian staggered but held his ground. He could feel the pull between them, the planet's will against human will. He shouted over the noise, "I did not come to destroy. I came to learn. If I share what I know, maybe this world can heal." The Guardian's voice softened, though the ground still trembled. "Then prove that your kind can change." The light around them dimmed. The being vanished, leaving only silence. The sisters looked at Rian, their faces showing both relief and concern. "It spared us," Vaya said, "for now, but it is not done. It will test you again." Nira looked up at the glowing orbs. "The spire accepted your voice. That means there is hope." Rian placed his hand on one of the cracked orbs. The light within it steadied. "If this planet holds memory, then maybe it can also forgive." The floor began to shift again, forming a bridge that led deeper into the spire. The air shimmered with heat and light. Nira turned to him. "Beyond this path lies the core. It is where the Guardian's true form sleeps. What happens there will decide whether Tovara lives or burns again." Rian nodded. "Then we finish this together." The sisters shared a silent look, then stepped beside him, their light one of fire. One of illusion merged and filled the chamber with a glow that felt alive. They walked forward as the spire opened before them, leading into the heart of the planet, where truth and illusion were one. The air inside the mirror spire grew warmer as Rian, Nira, and Vaya descended deeper toward the core. The walls shimmered with flowing colors that changed with every heartbeat. Patterns of fire and light danced across the crystal surfaces, reflecting their movements in strange ways. It felt alive, as if the tower itself were breathing. Rian's eyes widened. "The closer we get, the stronger it feels. I can hear it inside my head." Vaya nodded. "The Guardian's presence is everywhere here. It tests all who come near." Nira's flames flickered on her hands. "We must move quickly. The deeper we go, the harder it will fight us."
Ow.
They reached a vast chamber where the floor was smooth, dark, and glowing faintly from the energy beneath. In the center of the room floated a sphere of molten light. The Guardian's form emerged from it, rising like a giant figure made of fire and mirror. Its limbs moved slowly, but with immense power, and its face reflected countless human expressions at once. Rian felt the energy push against him. The air itself seemed alive, pressing and pulling with the Guardian's thoughts. "It's enormous," he whispered. Vaya's voice was steady. "It is more than that. It is the planet's will given form. Every motion, every choice we make matters here." The Guardian's voice echoed without sound. "Human, you return to the heart. You carry the echo of the past. Why should I spare your life?" Rian stepped forward, trying to keep his mind clear. "I did not come to harm. I came to understand. If I can help restore balance, will you listen?" The Guardian's form pulsed violently. "Words are empty. Power decides truth." Nira raised her hands. Flames leapt from her palms, dancing in arcs around the chamber. "Then witness our power. Do not underestimate us." Vaya raised her arms and the air shimmered. Dozens of illusions appeared, multiplying her form into a vast army of silver figures. They surrounded the Guardian, moving and shifting, making it impossible to know where the real Vaya stood. The Guardian's light flared, creating waves that shattered illusions. One by one, Vaya's copies vanished. The pressure in the room increased, making Rian struggle to breathe. He looked at Nira. "I can help." "Tell me what to do." Nira nodded. "Focus on your connection to the spire. Use your mind to channel the planet's energy. I will hold the Guardian's attention. Vaya will protect us with illusions. Together we can merge the forces." Rian closed his eyes and reached out with his thoughts. He felt the pulse of Tovara's core, the heartbeat beneath the planet's crust. It was strong and steady. He let it flow through him, guiding the energy outward. He saw the Guardian's form flicker, uncertain. The sisters moved in perfect sync. Nira's flames became sharper, forming walls and spears that struck at the Guardian's limbs. Vaya's illusions bent the light, creating copies of Rian and the sisters, each acting independently. The Guardian attacked them, its molten fists swinging through fire and mirror. Each strike shattered part of the chamber, but the sisters moved with the precision of a single mind. Rion's heart pounded. He had never felt energy like this before. He focused on the memories of humanity, remembering courage, hope, and unity. The spire responded. Streams of light and flame rose from his hands, weaving with Nira's fire and Vaya's illusions. Together, they formed a radiant web that wrapped around the Guardian. The Guardian roared, and its form expanded. Waves of heat and light pulsed outward, shaking the chamber. Rion fell to his knees, feeling the strain of holding the energy. His vision blurred, but he forced himself to keep the connection. The sisters' hands stayed steady beside him, their power guiding and strengthening his own. Vaya's illusions multiplied, forming walls of silver light that redirected the Guardian's attacks. Nira's flames struck with precision, hitting weak points in the Guardian's energy. The figure flickered, and Rion saw glimpses of its core, a small sphere of molten brilliance at the center. "Focus on the core," Nira shouted. "The Guardian cannot withstand combined fire and thought." Rion concentrated, pouring everything he felt into the energy web. Flames and light wrapped tightly around the Guardian's sphere. The molten figure shrieked, its energy pulsing violently as if resisting the force. But the combined strength of Rion, Nira, and Vaya was too great. Slowly, the Guardian's form began to shrink, losing its massive shape and returning to a smaller, calmer light. Rion felt the strain leaving his body. His chest heaved, sweat running down his face. "It's working," he gasped. Vaya's silver glow brightened. "Do not stop. Keep your mind clear. Trust the spire." Nira's flames burned stronger than ever. "The Guardian is not our enemy. It tests all who enter, but it can learn. We will show it balance." The Guardian pulsed one final time, and the chamber filled with brilliant light. Rion felt the energy around him merge completely with the spire. He could see everything at once: the planet's core, the Guardian's will, and the memories of those who had come before. He understood for the first time what the sisters had been trying to teach him. It was not about defeating the Guardian. It was about proving that humans could act with balance and respect. The molten sphere shrank further, transformed into a small, steady light. It floated before them, calm and serene. The chamber stopped shaking, and the heat dissipated. The walls of the spire reflected only their true forms now. Rion fell to his knees, exhausted. Nira and Vaya approached, their flames and illusions fading gently. "It is calm," Nira said. "For now. The Guardian has accepted your presence." Vaya looked at him. "You did not destroy it. You showed it that humans can bring harmony, not only chaos. That is why it allowed you to survive." Rion struggled to catch his breath. "I could not have done it without you." Nira smiled faintly. "And we could not have done it without you. The spire responded to your connection. Your blood carries what the first humans left behind, and you proved it can be used for good." The three of them moved toward the heart of the chamber. The central light of the Guardian pulsed softly, reflecting their forms. Rion could feel the energy of the planet flowing around him, steady and alive. The spire had accepted him as part of Tovara. Vaya's voice broke the silence. "Now, we must stabilize the core. The Guardian can rest only if the planet is balanced again. We will do this together." Nira extended her hands, and fire spread across the floor like living ribbons. Vaya created illusions that shaped themselves into channels guiding the flow of energy. Rion focused on the spire, his mind open, allowing the planet's heartbeat to flow through him and back into the core. The energy rose, forming a massive wave of light, fire, and illusion. It spiraled around the chamber, lifting the trio into the air for a moment. The force was overwhelming, but Rion felt calm inside it. The planet's will was clear. The Guardian's light pulsed once more, then sank into the core. The room became still. The wave of energy collapsed gently, leaving the chamber glowing with soft light. The spire was at peace. The Guardian had returned to its slumber. Rion touched the central light, feeling warmth and calm. He understood that Tovara was alive in a way no other planet was. It remembered every life, every choice. And now, it could grow without fear. Nira and Vaya stood beside him, their expressions relieved. Nira's flames softened, forming a gentle glow around her hands. Vaya's illusions faded, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. "It is done," Nira said. "The core is stable. The Guardian can rest." Vaya looked at Rian. "You have proven that humans can bring more than destruction. You have brought balance." Rian nodded, exhausted but proud. "I only followed your guidance. Without you, none of this would be possible." The chamber remained quiet, filled with the gentle pulse of the planet. The spire reflected not only their images, but their unity. Fire and illusion, human thought and planetary will, all existed together in perfect balance. Outside, the twin suns of Tovara began to rise, casting light across the glowing landscape. The flame basin, the forests, and the crystal grass all seemed to shimmer with renewed life. Rian looked out and felt hope. This world had survived because of courage, trust, and the bond between the Foxwoman sisters and a single human. The journey was not over. The hardest battle had been won. The Guardian would sleep, and the planet would heal. Rian understood that Tovara's story was not only about the past, but about the future. A future where humans and the unknown could work together. He turned to Nira and Vaya. "What happens now?" Nira smiled faintly. "We remain as guardians, but you will always be welcome here. Your presence is part of this planet now," Vaya added, "and the spire will guide you whenever it chooses. Remember, balance is fragile. We must protect it." Rian looked at the sisters, fire and illusion standing as one. He felt a bond stronger than anything he had known. He realized that the Foxwoman sisters had not only fought for him, they'd fought for the chance of harmony between worlds, together. They descended from the chamber, leaving the Guardian in peaceful slumber. Outside, the first light of Tovara illuminated the valley. The air was fresh, filled with energy and life. The forest hummed softly, and the planet seemed to breathe freely for the first time in generations. Rian took a deep breath, ready to face whatever came next. He knew that the spire, the Guardian, and the Foxwoman sisters would guide the path forward. Fire and illusion had triumphed together, and the story of Tovara had entered a new chapter. The sun rose over Tovara, its twin lights stretching across forests and valleys. The planet seemed to breathe in the gentle warmth. The glow of the flame basin softened, and the air smelled clean and alive. Rian walked alongside Nira and Vaya, their presence calm but alert, though the hardest battle had been won. He sensed that the journey was not yet over. "Even though the Guardian sleeps, its watch continues," Vaya said softly. "The planet tests all who enter. Your presence will always be measured." Rian nodded. "I understand. I will not take this lightly. I feel the responsibility." Nira glanced at him. "Tovara gave you a chance. Not many humans would have survived the test. It chose you for a reason." They moved through the forest toward the crystal fields. Every step felt lighter than before, as if the planet's energy now flowed around them instead of pressing against them. Birds-like creatures with shimmering feathers glided through the air, their calls soft and melodic. Streams of glowing water reflected the rising sun. Even the shadow of the trees seemed more peaceful. Rian paused to take it all in. "It is beautiful. I had no idea such a place existed in the universe." Vaya smiled faintly. "It is easy to forget the beauty when the world has been scarred, but it endures, because some are willing to protect it." They reached a plateau overlooking the valley where the spire rose like a crystal mountain. Rian could see the faint pulse of energy coming from its heart, steady and calm. The Guardian's light glimmered softly at the top. The sisters stopped and turned toward him. "You have learned much," Nira said. "You faced fear, illusion, and power beyond human understanding. You acted with courage and balance. That is why the Guardian accepted you." Rian looked at her. "I could not have done it alone. You guided me, protected me, and showed me how to connect with the planet. I owe everything to you." Vaya placed a hand on his shoulder. "You carried the echo of those who came before you. We only helped you see it." Rian took a deep breath. He felt the energy of Tovara flowing through him, the heartbeat of the planet steady and alive. He realized he could not leave this place untouched. He wanted to ensure the future would be safe, not just for the planet, but for any human who might come. Then we must decide our next step, Nira said. The spire holds knowledge of the past, but also guidance for the future. You will learn how to use it. Vaya gestured toward the glowing tower. The journey to the core taught you courage and patience. Now it can teach you wisdom. Together, they entered the mirror spire again. This time the chamber was calm, the walls reflecting only their true forms. The central light of the guardian pulsed gently, no longer threatening. Streams of fire and light moved slowly, weaving patterns of balance and harmony. Rian touched one of the glowing paths. Knowledge entered him not in words, but in understanding. He saw the energy flows beneath the surface. The history of humans who had tried to control Tavera, and the lessons they had left behind. He saw Nira and Vaya rising from the flames, becoming guardians, and understood the deep responsibility they carried. This is incredible, he whispered. It is as if the planet itself speaks, Vaya said. Every step, every choice is remembered. That is why balance is vital. The Guardian cannot protect the planet if we act recklessly. It can only respond to those who prove themselves. Rian nodded. Then I must prove I can protect it too. Nira extended her hands, flames dancing gently. We will teach you. The spire does not only judge, it can guide. You will learn to connect without overwhelming the balance. For hours, they walked through the chambers. Each one displayed different times and events. Some showed humans working together, planting life instead of machines. Others displayed destruction and despair. The sisters guided Rian to understand which choices created harmony and which led to chaos. He learned to use the fire of Nira's energy, and the illusions of Vaya's light too. Manipulate small flows of planetary energy. He could calm a pulsating section of the floor or redirect a stream of molten light. The planet responded to his touch, slowly accepting him as a part of its history and future. At last they reached a chamber filled with mirrors. Each mirror reflected a different possibility, a choice made or ignored. Rian stepped forward. One mirror showed him leaving Tovara without helping, the planet collapsing under imbalance. Another showed him working with Nira and Vaya, guiding humans to respect the planet, and Tovara flourishing. This is the final choice, Nira said. The Guardian watches. What you decide will shape the future. You must act with wisdom, not just courage. Rian placed his hands on the mirrors, feeling the energy of the planet flow through him. He understood that leaving Tovara untouched would cause pain and loss. He also knew he could not control it alone. Only balance, care, and guidance could secure its future. I choose to stay connected, he said firmly. I will learn from you and protect Tovara. I will ensure that humans who come here understand its value and do not repeat the mistakes of the past. The mirrors glowed brightly, then merged into one, showing Rian, Nira, and Vaya standing together at the top of the spire. The Guardian's light pulsed once, strong and steady. The room filled with warmth and calm, the energy balanced and peaceful. The sisters turned to him. You have chosen wisely, Vaya said. Tovera will thrive because of your choice, Nira smiled. The Guardian rests in peace now, and the spire will guide those who come after. You are part of this world, Rian. Never forget it. Aeon felt a sense of completion. He had faced fear, power, and the unknown. He had battled illusions, fire, and the Guardian itself. But he had survived, and he had learned. Outside, the valley shone with life. Streams sparkled, forests moved gently in the breeze, and creatures of Tovara played in the light. The flame basin glowed softly, no longer wild, but calm and steady. The planet had healed. Rian looked at the sisters. Will the Guardian ever wake again? Vaya nodded. It will. The Guardian never truly sleeps, but it will watch without harm if balance remains. It tests only those who threaten or help the planet. Nira extended a hand. You are welcome to walk among us, Rian. Together we can guide Tovara's future. You have proven yourself worthy. Brienne took her hand, feeling warmth and connection. Then I will stay. I will learn. And I will protect this world with all that I am. The sisters smiled. Flames danced around Nira's hands, and silver light shimmered around Vea. Together, they formed a circle of fire and illusion. Surrounding Rian, it was not a trap, but a bond. A sign of unity between human and guardian, past and present. The three of them stood on the plateau as the twin suns rose higher. Light poured across the land, reflecting off crystal grass and silver trees. Streams flowed freely, carrying energy that nourished the forests. Every part of Tovara seemed alive, balanced and aware. Rian felt hope for the first time in a long journey. Humanity had made mistakes, but it could also bring harmony. The Foxwoman sisters had risked everything to show him this truth. He realized that courage alone was not enough. Only care, understanding, and respect could protect worlds like Tovara. Vaya looked at him. The path ahead will not be easy. Other humans may come seeking power. You must teach them what you have learned. Tovara depends on it. I will, Rian promised. I will not let this world suffer because of ignorance or ambition. Nira nodded. Then our task is complete. For now, you are ready to face the challenges beyond the spire? The wind carried a soft hum from the planet's core. The Guardian rested. The mirror spire reflected only truth, and the valley below glowed with life. Rian knew that he had become part of something far greater than himself. He had been tested, guided, and transformed, together. The three walked down from the spire, leaving behind the chamber that held the heart of Tovara. Every step carried purpose. Every breath held the energy of life and balance. The planet was safe, for now, because humans could choose harmony, and guardians could guide them. As they reached the edge of the plateau, Rian looked back at the glowing tower. I will never forget this place. Never forget what it taught me. Vaya smiled, and Tovara will never forget you. Nira's flames flickered warmly. We will walk together as long as the planet needs us. The bond we share is eternal. Rian stood between them, feeling strength and peace. The Foxwoman sisters had fought with fire and illusion, not just for him, but for the planet and the future. And now he would carry their lesson into the stars, wherever humanity might go. The dawn spread across Tovara. Light and shadow danced together. Fire and illusion rested in harmony. And the story of the planet, the Guardian, the sisters, and a single human had reached a new beginning. Rian took a deep breath. The journey had changed him. He knew that the future of Tovara and the memory of all those who came before would endure because courage, wisdom, and unity had triumphed. The Foxwoman sisters smiled. Fire and illusion surrounded them. And for the first time, Rian felt that humanity had a place not only in the stars, but in the hearts of worlds that could remember, forgive, and grow.